Al die mense inkom. Welcome everyone. We're going to start the webinar at 3. At 3. It's 3. We're just going to wait until everyone has come in. You just see. Okay, we can start the webinar. This is the Tech Talk on Thursdays at 3. Now, for an Afrikaans-speaking girl, this is very difficult to say. It's a lot of words, and we all struggle with that if we're Afrikaans, but welcome to this session. It's a Q&A session, so if you've got questions, please put your questions in the Q&A box. Don't use the chat box, because then we can't retrieve the questions there. But if you put it in the Q&A box, we'll deal with the questions after the session. And then just here is the provincial manager's contact details. Please write it down if you need to contact them. And then Riaan's telephone number is the bottom one, the Center for Technology. So if you have any questions after this session, you are more than welcome to contact him either via his cell phone or just drop him an email. And with that, Riaan, I'm going to hand over to you. Welcome.
Thank you, Ilse. Baie dankie. Goeiemiddag, good afternoon, everybody. It's Thursday at 3, but it feels like Monday at 5. I think everyone has a struggle with calling yesterday Wednesday, because today I just felt like it's Monday all along. Welcome to Tech Talk. Lekker om saam met julle te kuier. I want to start this session today by talking a little bit from my heart, because we see a lot of things going on in the market at this point in time and in schools and the school economy. And then I'm going to introduce to you our speaker for today, or company that's sharing an idea with us. It's via the D6 company and the group. A company called Sticitt is powering their cashless wallet, and they've got a very innovative idea for us to run a little bit of fundraising, but also have a participation platform for learners. But let me just quickly share my screen and just go through my notes. In fact, maybe, yeah, let me just do that quick. Can you guys see my screen? Not yet, hey?
Nog nie, Riaan?
There we go. Are we good to go now? Second
Yes.
time the button works better. So yeah, welcome. You will see that we still have our green ribbon in the corner there, just letting Child Protection Week from 2 weeks ago linger a little bit longer. It's Youth Month. Yesterday was Youth Day, and I think it's critical to just keep our minds in the space of we're working with the future of South Africa, the youth, but they are with us already. They're not joining us at some point in time later. In the Center for Technology, we have this slogan, and I keep changing or adding to it. We say, learn as we live, meaning that our learning processes, our thinking spaces, our working spaces, where we go to school, and that might not even be the classroom all the time, has to mirror our living cycle, our living experience. So we say, if we've got Bluetooth cars, I was at a school the other day, if you've got a Bluetooth car, but there's nothing Bluetooth in your class, somewhere there's a disconnect. We say teach as we live, manage as we live, and even govern as we live. In the past 2-3 weeks, I've added, let's live as we live, because we've got to define or possibly redefine our living experiences at this point in time. I'm sitting in Gauteng, where COVID is possibly worse now than it's been since last year, March. I'm aware of many people, many schools affected, learners, teachers, parents. Suddenly, every day is kind of a blank canvas, and we've got to live in that new reality. And let's talk about that a little bit before we get into Theo's discussion on the talent platform. Like a good TV show, there's always room for an advertisement. I'm going to ask Ilse to just pop the link to the FEDSAS Tech Talk e-magazine in the chat box. Ilse, if you can do that for us. Ons nuutste Tech Talk e-tydskrif is geloods so 'n week of 2 terug. So yeah, please have a good read on that. So the first page says how to read this is It's not a quick read. This is not a 2-minute read. It's not a newsletter. It's not critical information that's urgent and important and in a pressurized situation. But I'm hoping I'm giving you something that you can read while drinking a cup of coffee. So I say, hit your favorite button on your coffee machine, pour yourself your favorite blend, and sit back and relax and read the new SGB edition. There's good information that our CEO and deputy CEO have written. I've compiled a few good ideas, and then we showcase some of our members for the Center for Technology, which is always good to know what solutions are out there. So have a look at that, download, or it's an online magazine. Take the link from Ilse's post, and then let's take it from there. Have a good read and give us some feedback on that. I want to talk a little bit without sharing my screen. I think it's critical that I share my heart today. We are showcasing something that I interjected into my regular scheduled plan. We were going to have someone else talk today, and about 2 weeks ago, I thought, no, let's change the procedure because we see what is going on in our schools and in our lives. My bullet in front of me, which you can't see, is our new and changing reality. Somehow we got used to the new normal. It's just crazy and it's abnormal, but we still want to try and fix it into some sense. A month or so ago, we suddenly lost a lot of contact sports and extramural activities. So for me, that just means that we're constantly changing into a new reality. And I think that's what we need to do. Let's react fast, nimble, and quickly to what is happening. And that's why I decided to talk about this issue today. We see the effects of COVID, and me always being positive and energized and excited about things, technology, and how it can help schools. I'm a little bit concerned today, thinking of what's happened, especially given the fact that it's Youth Month and Child Protection Week. We've seen an increase in bully activity, in online sharing of bully activity. We've even seen some increase in child suicide, which is terrible. 2 of our member schools in Gauteng lost a learner during last week. So we see the effect of this extremely intense, pressurized, behind a mask world that we're living in. And one of the issues that get blamed or that get highlighted is the fact that our learners are constantly online. And yes, they are. There's a lot of online activity, very much an increase in online activity. On the one side, good, because we can't connect with each other over a cup of coffee or on a sports field anymore. But there's a lot of positive that comes with it, but there's a lot of risk and bad that comes with it. And I want to talk about that. When I advertised today's session, within a day, I had a very long and intense, well thought through email from an IT person at a school that says, man, we're trying to get learners away from social media. We're trying to get learners back to, in a sense, of being human. And now you're showcasing something that puts them back on the screen. And yes, there's a dichotomy in that. There's very much a risk in more screen time over, too much screen time is definitely an issue. And believe me, I know I've got a 10 and 11-year-old in my house, and both of them, especially my boy, he would sit and watch YouTube daily for the whole day, play Minecraft, all these things. So we've got to manage screen time where I'm at as well. But we see learners in an online space in any case. What we also see is participation and just showcasing what you have at school has diminished. We don't have mass participation anymore. We don't have anything in mass. Contact sport was stopped. We still have some other extramurals that can go on. But learners, some more than others, need to participate and be a little devious. They just want to fit in somewhere. And some of them have skills and some of them have talents that they wish to showcase. That's why, we've got, before COVID, we always had talent shows, debate, rugby, soccer, hockey, chess, whatever you're good at, you can showcase so that you get that positive affirmation. And I have a sense that there's less of that going on now. We don't have those opportunities. So I've given a lot of thought to this and said, but I want to see our children having opportunity. The next point that I have on my list is that of fun. I think we're having too little fun. And I know I started on possibly a little bit of a somber note saying that we see the effects and there's very tough effects. In fact, FEDSAS and the SAOU, the SAOE, are hosting a webinar next Monday, speaking to teachers and the school community about the mental impact and the effects of our time. So we're aware of it, but I think we must also, in the same time, have avenues, channels where our learners can have fun, where schools can have fun in the midst of this difficulty. And having fun is possibly doing something like the kids do in any case, sharing a TikTok video or creating a channel on YouTube or doing something that just gives them that sense of release. So I'm hoping that today's discussion will take us to a point where my thinking is, let's give learners who are online in any case, something that the institution, not just them by themselves, but the institution organizes, somehow controls in a better environment and gives guidelines and sets some rules and if you want to make it a competition, make a competition that has good rules and bad rules, that you don't fall in the trap of, yes, it's only the winners that get the benefit. It's only the most popular that gets the benefit, or only the richest that get the benefit. But and you'll know why I'm saying that, because there's a voting with cash, but that everyone can have fun, participate with no entry competition. You're not one of 15 boys running onto the field. You're one of the whole school that can participate, and everyone has that opportunity. The next point I have there, and I'm talking to the teachers and school management, I'm sure, hoping that there's a few parents online as well, but I see a disconnect between what the teachers and the learners and the parents do, especially a disconnect between the learners' activity online and the parents' activity. So with the talent platform that we're going to be talking about today, the aim is to invite the parents into this space. The parent has to register his or her learner's activity. The parent has to quality control it, load it up, and be part of the process. And then it's going to be parents that are going to be the channel for the voting of, I mean, it's like Idols or The Voice, the audience votes. And I want to connect the parents on the one side with the learners again, and have a look at what your child does and say, man, well done for playing that amazing song on the guitar. Well done for sketching that amazing picture of a horse jumping, but be in the game and then tell others. I've mentioned the fact that I want it to be an open platform. So a school can use this platform to create a participation in mass opportunity without it being gated to say, but we're going to have auditions and only the top 3 can play and that kind of thing. We're going to have trials and only the first 3 over the line can participate. Here we create an opportunity for a lot of participation, and even the scam unikies, the people that might not be so keen, can play along. Then the last one, which I think is great for the school and school management, is the fact that it's a fun and fundraising opportunity. There is definitely an opportunity, and Theo is going to share with us how the system in broad strokes work, and the school can then tailor it to their own context. I'm talking to SGB members. I'm talking to schools that follow a lot of the FEDSAS material and our training and that sort of thing. And we wish to empower an SGB, to equip an SGB school management to make good decisions on the ground in the context of your school. If you are high in volume on competition, make this something different. If you are low in ambition and motivation, maybe make a little bit of a competition per class, make it in groups that you don't highlight specific, but think about the tools that Theo is going to show us and contextualize it in your situation, your scenario, in the best interest of the child and the best interest of the school. So yes, it's an online platform. And we're going to give the opportunity for kids to showcase a talent, and then people are going to be able to see that, vote by means of a 5 Rand or a 10 Rand or whatever the voting cost is. and we're going to try and do it on a mass scale. But let's remember, it's not a tech is the tool. It's actually an intervention to see if we can participate where we lost participation in the past few weeks or even months. Then there's always the question, and Yone, you can open your mic and your screen for us along. There's always the question of Poppy. It is front and center. Doesn't matter what discussion we have now, if it's online admissions in Gauteng or Limpopo, if it's showcasing something on YouTube or is posting something on Facebook, there's always the Poppy question. So I've asked Yone, our legal officer, to come in and just give us a little bit of a background. Poppy is not necessarily a stick that makes us do nothing. But Yone, there's a few principles. If a parent shares a child's video on unlisted sites on YouTube, is it Poppy breach or is it not? How do we work around, not around to break the law, but around it that it makes sense that we're still responsible? Yone, your thoughts on Poppy of children on YouTube and the risks about that. Please share with us your idea.
Yes, good afternoon, Riaan, and good afternoon, everyone from not so chilly Bloemfontein today. But yeah, the Poppy topic has been quite a hot topic the last month. Schools struggling to get everything in order to become Poppy compliant. And I have to say, Poppy is really about responsible information governance. So if we look at, for instance, live streaming of sports matches, if we look at the streaming or making available of videos on social media or on YouTube, there is a few permissible grounds that we first have to look at under which conditions we may make those videos available on these platforms, on the internet, on YouTube, and so forth. So it just very straightforward. I can say that there has not been a lot of court rulings on the legislation, has not yet developed as much on the privacy law. So I'm looking forward to see what's going to happen in future. But if we look at the physical interpretation of what Poppy says, the making of the recordings or the making of the videos is not the issue, because once you find yourself in a public space, you actually waive your right to privacy. But the issue comes in when what we do with that material which we have collected through a recording and what we have put onto YouTube. Now, the permissible grounds for the processing in that format is that we do need to have the consent of the parents of the child to, for instance, place a video onto YouTube. There's a lot of other permissible grounds as well to process personal information, but specifically looking at making up recordings and placing it in a social media, specifically in a platform where there's a wide range of viewers that can access it. It's important to get the permission of the parents of the participants to place it on that platform.
Thank you, Yone. Poppy is going to be with us. It's going to be a struggle, but everything we do isn't suddenly illegal. We just have to be responsible and work with the data. That's what I'm hearing you say. So thanks so much. Will you stick around for the Q&A session later on? Because I'm sure that will come up. Theo, I want to welcome you to the stage. If you can open your mic and open your screen. We're talking about the talent platform today. We've showcased it before. I've given you a little bit different background now. It's not just quick tech that makes us do fundraising, but it actually steps into the gap of a lot of the issues that I mentioned: participation, competition, or lack of competition if you don't want to do it. But yeah, I want to ask you to, Theo is at Sticitt. They're the engine behind the D6 cashless environment. So you work closely with D6, and my kids' school have the e-wallet, and it saves me every time that I need cash and my daughter wants to buy something in school that I don't have cash with me. I just make sure she can participate in the sprayathon because I just hit the blue button and pay from my e-wallet. But this is a great initiative. It works with D6 and it can work without D6. But if you can just give us some background, some practicalities on how school can raise funds whilst having fun and doing it in a safe way using your platform. Welcome to you.
Thank you, Riaan, and thank you for the rest of the FEDSAS team. So yes, on this topic of the fundraising platform, before I share my screen, two things that you mentioned, Riaan, that was sort of centered to when we started the development of the talent platform is we've been working with D6 now over the last 4 or so years to really look at how we can simplify the payment ecosystem within schools. but we always made sure that we remain very close to sort of practically what's actually going on the ground and what are the real problems that schools and learners alike are experiencing. And last year, when COVID hit for the first time, the two sort of needs that very quickly became very real was kids don't have anything from a social perspective that is fun at all anymore. They don't have any more sport events. There's nothing that sort of brings the learner community together anymore. They were at home doing pretty much nothing, or playing computer games, some form or another. So we knew there's a massive social element that's just completely gone missing all of a sudden. And the second thing was also schools had a massive issue with how they're going to raise funds. So our team really sat with the D6 team and said, listen, we need to do something that we can just help practically solve those two problems. And on that, if I can share my screen, we really just built something that is simple to deploy, that is easy to use, and that can really speak to those two problems. So that really gave birth to the talent platform that we have today. So everyone can see here on my screen, it's just a demo environment where we've used Large School Antwerp and Vaux as an example. But what it really entails is kids can perform any talent that they've got. And as you mentioned, it's really not just if you're specifically good at something, but it's really anything that you would just like to showcase and participate within sort of the talent community. With your parents' consent, you can upload those videos onto the talent platform by clicking on the submit video. And very importantly, we only provide, or we only incorporate the links to the YouTube videos on this platform specifically. So I think if parents or learners don't actually know how to upload YouTube videos at this point in time, it might be a very good point to actually start learning how that works, because I think the youth of today consume most of their content on these platforms. So it's in any case a very good educational exercise for parents to go through. But you submit a video, and if I can quickly just show, so I will submit a quick video here for Theo Kitshoff, my own little son. I'll quickly complete the parent details. And then I will paste the YouTube link. So I'll quickly go to YouTube. I'll quickly copy, this is any generic sort of video. Let me copy this as if it was my own video of my child performing some act. I'll paste that on, accept the terms and conditions, which is important. Sorry, I've actually already uploaded this video. Let me just quickly get another video here. Let's use this one. Okay, let's quickly go and share this. Apologies for that. Then this is now the component, Riaan, where we wanted to make sure we at least incorporate, whilst the learners are having fun and the parents are learning how to actually use YouTube, it's a great opportunity to also ensure we can raise some funds for the school itself. So school can set how much parents needs to pay when they upload their initial video. The video gets submitted to our quality review process. Once it's been reviewed, it will be posted onto the platform like you can see here. And that's another very important point. Videos don't get posted onto the platform immediately. There is an administrative step that happens to make sure that all the videos on here have been reviewed. So it's not just open for anyone that can go and paste on here. But once the videos are then uploaded onto the platform, from here, everyone can view each other's videos. You can click to play a specific video, and then you can go and click to vote for your favorite video. Schools can also set how much the voting fees are. In this case, it was R5. So now you can go and review all the videos that you would like, and you can click to vote as you want. One thing that was very important, though, was we wanted to also guide schools to not only use the voting mechanism to determine who wins, but definitely incorporate other prizes as well for any level of participation on the platform itself. The only reason why we incorporated voting was, as I said, to try and solve some of the fundraising headaches that schools are experiencing. So that's really as simple as it is, Riaan. We wanted to keep it straightforward. We didn't want to give a complicated platform to schools to administer or for parents to use. We help the schools with the rollout of it. And yes, it's something fun that can raise some additional funding for schools.
Sounds great. But where do we start? Is there somewhere that we'll wrap up with a summary of this? Too, you think you can stop sharing because I'm looking at myself twice. How do they go about this? Is it only working in D6 or as part of D6? Can it run separately or on a standalone basis? Can they contact you? Where do we go from here? If a school has the appetite to say, let's just do a little fun activity, raise funds, make it secure. And let me just maybe add to that, the YouTube video should be an unlisted video, not, well, it's a parent's choice, but an unlisted video is the safest one that only people with that link can use. So Theo, hoe kry ons julle in die hande? And can it work with our D6?
Riaan, so to get hold of us, you can contact sales at D6. Their team will
just
then
open your camera. We don't see you.
I'm still
There we
learning
go.
on
There
Zoom,
we go.
Riaan. Okay, great. So to get hold of us, schools can contact D6 directly at sales@d6.co.za, and their team will then involve us straight away to help with the onboarding process. And with regards to, sorry, your second question was?
Can it run without D6 if a school is not a D6 cashless wallet school?
Absolutely. So the platform itself is not dependent on D6. Sticitt Pay as the underlying payment platform is used to help schools decash their school environments, as I previously mentioned. And that's also the payment mechanism that's used ultimately to perform the voting and the initial submission. But it's not dependent on the schools running any of the D6 Plus administration or finance solutions.
So then they can contact D6 or yourselves to run that.
Absolutely, but I think it's easier, go through D6, contact them, and then we'll get involved with them immediately.
And that email address,
sales@d6.co.za.
So if you want to introduce a talent platform at your school, but let's just talk about those principles again. Are we sure we want to go there? Yes or no? When we do it, what's the format? You mentioned maybe not just the voting be the telling factor of who's the winner and who's not the winner, but design a set of rules for your school that makes sense to you. Then deploy it, send communication out, talk to the parents, say if your child does something really good, sing, debate, redenaars, speech. I was thinking about possibly kids talking about their felt realities in this pandemic, maybe just do a 3-minute talk on what's really changed in my life. And then people can vote for that. And that's a R5, a 10 Rand, or whatever the ticket price is to that. And then we see how it's being followed. Theo, I don't know if you've got case studies, but I think we in the region of 20 to 25,000 Rand average for the schools that did run this last year. Am I right?
Absolutely, Riaan. And those were all schools that didn't make use of any of the sort of payment functionality prior to that. So we had schools where we even did quite significantly better than that, but that was on average a site that used the talent platform that operated for about a month to a month and a half. That was generally the total funds that was raised at those events.
Brilliant. Tim, we've got a few questions in the Q&A box. The one says, is there a link to the talent platform and all the details around it? I don't think you've got necessarily a strong platform. It's more a product than a business. So, but is there something, maybe a one-pager PDF or something that we can send the schools?
Absolutely, Riaan. We'll share that with you so that you can then disseminate that to the audience.
To the audience, great stuff. All right, the other questions disappeared quickly from the list. Yes, there will be a recording of the session. Yes. There will be a debate, hopefully, about this. And I want to touch on what I started with earlier. The email that I received turned into a great discussion, not a fight, but a great discussion and robust debate on what the principles are behind why we do things. If your school is overexposed to social media and screen time, maybe you should rethink this. Or you should say, because of that, we want to put this in the positive. We want to put this in the institution, because we can't really control what happens after 2 and the kids are on their cell phones. But let's embrace the energy that they spend there and put it into something that I want to call it institutionalizes the activity. Make it part of a bigger movement. So the debate at your school must go on all the time. The involvement of your parents. I think there is, someone said, might not agree with me that there's a disconnect between teachers, parents, and kids, but I think there's a risk of that, because parents don't look at what their children do on all the platforms all the time. But this one is a combination of I load my child's YouTube or video on YouTube, and I'm part of the process, and I start voting, and I see the competition, the other participants, and suddenly I have an appreciation for what the rest of the school is doing, because now I'm looking at my child's video on the platform, but I'm also seeing other great participants doing this. So yeah, that's basically where I want to go with this. Let's be intentional about the thinking of how to deploy this. Winning and losing has always been part of our lives. You might like it, you might not like it. I've got serious debate points on both sides of the line, but we don't want to just negate someone performing well. We don't want to just ignore a good performance. That's why we have marks and tests and prize givings at a school, but one's got to be sensible about that. This competition must not just be for the best of the best. It's for everyone to play. Then I think we've really made some inroads in this. Ilse, I just want to see if there are questions that we might have missed. Kan jy vir ons sê of daar iets krities is?
Riaan, jy het alles hanteer sover. Ek het gehou van Jacques se net comment waar,
yes.
waar hy sê, I do believe when there's a sync between the teachers, parents and kids, it builds a culture in the school community. That was so nice for me. That is so true.
Send Jacques a free ticket to next week's Tech Talk. Jacques, I agree. So if there's synchronization on something, and that's why I use the word institutionalized. If something is institutionalized, it's organized. The organization comes from the people in the school, and man, I've got such appreciation for school management teams at this point in time, because they're really juggling a lot of difficult balls. It's exam, it's COVID, it's regulations, it's new directives, or it's not. But if the people that deal with all the pressure all the time, and the pressure comes through in the system, also deal with the fun element and the participation. I know a lot of schools, they've gone on with conditioning and fitness training when contact sport was cancelled. They're really doing some great things. This is an additional channel where we can have kids participate, just do it safely. The competition or the platform is not POPI compliant or not POPI compliant. As I understand you, Anna, correctly, it's how we deal responsibly with the information that makes us POPI compliant or not. So it's a process. It's not a one-time event to say we're POPI compliant. So yeah, if there are no other questions, contact me on tech@fedsas.org.za. If you've got any questions, although I think my email box has been hacked today, so I'm not receiving any emails. Haven't received a mail since 10 o'clock this morning, but we are aware of a problem that's running there. And
Riaan,
then also sales.
Sorry, there's one question that came in now. If you can quickly have a look there.
Let me have a look. Good day. I would like to know whether this fundraising platform is automatically loaded on the D6 app, or should we as a school register to use the platform for fundraising? Theo, I don't know if you've got a input on that. If your school uses D6, the D6 Connect app, and you've got the e-wallet in there, I think it's easy, but the school must still do it. Theo, you didn't say what you're going to charge a school if you help them onboard this. Maybe just open your screen and give us an answer on that. Is it automatically in D6, or is there a setup scenario, and will you be able to facilitate that setup at what cost?
100%. Thanks, Riaan. So schools will need to sign up for a Sticitt Pay merchant account, which is an extremely straightforward process. And the platform itself, we generally do advise that you use D6 Connect to share the link to the actual talent platform. But it's not dependent on running within the D6 Connect environment. In terms of costs, we generally have a 3,500 Rand sign up, setup, support, and maintenance arrangement with schools to facilitate the entire process. But since all the COVID nonsense the last year, we decided to take that down to 2,000 Rand to try and help as much schools as possible, just to get the platform running and to get the platform set up. And then lastly, there's the 2.5% transactional fee on the successful processing of payments. But that's it.
the transaction fee would have been part of dealing with cash or credit card or anything. So that's part and parcel of the scenario. So yeah, you don't need D6 to run this. It helps if you can communicate through it. And if you're a D6 user, it's great in any case. But you can still contact for either sides of the mechanism, either by means of incorporated into D6 or the standalone version, contact sales@d6.co.za and find out more. So you got a flat fee of 2,000 odd rand, and then you make the fundraising. So you need a few parents to upload some videos of their children and register, and then some voters to break even. But like I said, the case studies that we did last year was in excess of 25,000 rand revenue on this, which I think is good money. But possibly the main aim of this is not really the money, but more the goodwill, the outlet that you're creating for learners to participate. So with that, Ilse, I think I've exhausted my notes in making sure that we are responsible when we think about this. Let's debate the fact that we've got to use technology sensibly and positively as well, not overextend it. Let's involve our parent community in this process. Let's give some fun, put some fun into functional schools again, and have a great time with this. With that, just want to remind everyone, have a look at our Tech Talk magazine. I'm really proud of the edition. It speaks to the work that the SGB should be doing, and give us some feedback on that. Ilse, that's my story for today. Over to you. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Riaan. I just want to encourage you to go and read that e-magazine that Riaan has posted. We've posted the link in the chat box. It is worthwhile to read it, really. And there is again our contact details. If you need to get hold of Theo and you don't know how to get hold of him, there's Riaan's contact details at the bottom of the page. Just send him an SMS or WhatsApp, or phone him, or send him an email. And with that, Riaan, we are finished. Everybody enjoy your afternoon and have a good evening. Thank you.
Cheers, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Go well. Bye.
Everyone.